Last segment of the episode is one I think we both enjoyed. So our last segment is the top performers from the NBA bubble.
Mm-hmm.
With the NBA bubble coming to a conclusion soon, we kind of wanted to just take a broader sense of the NBA bubble and just outline kind of the 10 top performers that we each thought were the best.
Mm.
Uh,
Do you want to go?
Let's
10,
go 10,
10, 9, 9, or
yeah,
10?
I like that. I like that.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead, take it. Go. You
All
start.
right. So at my number 10 slot, I have Gary Trent Jr. He was Duke product. He led the bubble in 3-point percentage at 62.1% and led the bubble in contested threes made at 22. And with no Trevor Ariza or no Rodney Hood and backs against the wall of Trailblazers the entire bubble, he played a big X factor role for them and really was a key component in getting them to the playoffs.
Yeah. No, he had one of the, you probably say he's the most improved in the bubble.
Yeah, and he that was another one that kind of came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
or one of the ones that kind of came out of nowhere
Mhm.
and kind of hit us all over the head. So I can't help but include him in this because his sample size before the bubble was very, very small.
Okay. So you're kind of looking at his improvement, and that's why you added him to the list.
Yes, I'm looking at improvement and just kind of big roles that they played
Okay.
for playoff teams or like teams that did well.
That's fair. I can get behind that. So I'm gonna tell you, Gary Trent is not on my list. My number 10 is Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
So I kind of looked at more the playoffs and how I know that Gary Trent and the Blazers, they lost to LeBron in the first series,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think like there needed to be a Heat player in this list
Mm-hmm.
because they're in the NBA Finals, and with the NBA Finals, I'm going to take the best overall player.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler has been the best overall player on the team, I would say, except the Eastern Conference Finals series where Bam Adebayo was.
Mm-hmm.
But in overall sense, Jimmy Butler has been an animal, and he's been carrying the Heat, and that's why he's on my list.
Yeah, I think the trio of Hero, Adebayo, and Butler kind of make my 3 honorable mention slots.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have honorable mention slots, but like if we did, those 3 guys would be there for me because like you can't talk about the bubble without talking about the Heat, and Tyler Hero has just he's become like this like fan favorite, trending guy, and he's super fun to watch. And Bam Adebayo has played another guy that's been a big X factor role, really coming to his own in the playoffs. And then Jimmy Butler has been Jimmy Butler.
Exactly.
So
Bam keeps getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Jimmy Butler. You want to go?
At 9, I have MPJ, Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. Okay.
He all bubble second team, averaged 22 and 8 throughout the entirety of his run in the bubble. And after he was another one that had a very, very small sample size before the hiatus. So he kind of came on. I thought I was going to see more him and Bol kind of complement each other. I was really disappointed in that because I was looking forward to that duo. But Michael Porter Jr. shut the lights out in the entire playoffs.
He could be a star.
That big 3 in Denver is going to be a big team.
They're set for the next.
Yep.
For another like 15 or 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
Because Jamal Murray's 23, Jokic 24, 25, and Porter Jr. is 21.
Yep.
And they just got great. Their Nuggets are tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nuggets are
we saw that in the
a
playoffs.
team to reckon with moving forward, and they're only going to get better.
Yeah. Number 9 again. So my list is kind of different from you. You're the 2 guys you said have been guys that have been the biggest, I would say, improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with kind of just star power.
Okay.
So I went with Anthony Davis at 9.
Okay.
We talked about this a little bit before, how he was going to win probably the Finals MVP after the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But he has been dominant. He's one of the most talented guys in the league. He's a guard. He's a big guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's unbelievably blocks shots. He rebounds. He scores. He dribbles. He's just a great all-around player, and he's a stud. So I had to have him in my list right here.
Don't hate that. This is the portion of my list where it kind of gets in the mixture between star power and improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So at number 8, I have LeBron. Nearly averaging a triple-double throughout the entirety of the bubble. Has led a championship team at 36 years old, how we alluded to earlier, which is incredible to me because you see a lot of 36-year-olds sort of decline. Father time starts to catch up to them, and you haven't seen that with LeBron in the slightest. So I think that in itself is impressive. He's been Another thing that we've kind of noticed with LeBron coming down the stretch of games, like in crunch time, he's picking up teams' best players now. In the last 2
Especially
minutes.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, he picked up. You had the Clippers game where he picked up both Kawhi and Paul George and stopped that in one of the last regular season games.
Okay, yep.
He stopped that possession.
He's been guarding Jimmy.
He's been guarding Jimmy. We've kind of gotten on LeBron, or like the media has gotten on LeBron about not picking up big matchups and big games, or just picking up big matchups in general. And he's kind of stepped up to the plate this year and done exactly that. LeBron and AD both said that they wanted to strive towards getting Defensive Player of the Year this year. LeBron obviously wasn't in consideration, although I'm surprised that at this point in his career, with the amount of blocks he has and everything, that he hasn't been at least like top 3 in finishing in Defensive
He's a
Player of
good
the Year.
defender this year.
Yeah, he was a very good defender this year, and then AD obviously plays where he plays, but I think it's something to be said too, because LeBron is still adding pieces to his game that we haven't seen before at year 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. So I have LeBron at 8.
Mhm.
He's everything you just said. I don't even need to explain that. He's unbelievable, and he almost keeps getting a little better and better. Like he led the league in assists this year.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He's doing, it's crazy that he's doing things that he hasn't done in his career
Exactly.
at this point in year 17. That's,
Just one thing about LeBron again. I know you alluded to a lot of stuff about him. When he was coming into the NBA, like the amount of, I mean, we were obviously young, but we know a lot about him.
mhm.
His bar that he had to reach in order, like they were comparing him to MJ when he was a junior in high school.
Right.
Like, he has probably surpassed every expectation, honestly, about him.
Right.
He's been unbelievable.
Absolutely. And moving to number 7, I have AD. For most of the reasons that you said before, he's been insanely clutch. He's done whatever he wanted to in the Portland Houston series. He had some games against the Nuggets, and he had game 3 in the finals where he had like an game.
Yeah.
But other than that, he hasn't really had a down game, like an unproductive game where you could say like Anthony Davis is the reason that they lost. And he's been.
Well, I would argue like the one game was game 3.
Well,
he was a foul.
I said other than that.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah. Other than that, you haven't really been pointing the finger at AD, and he's really stepped up to the plate. And his first finals appearance,
Yeah.
and his first really deep playoff run, because he hasn't gotten out of the second round in any of the years leading up to this year. So I think he's really stepped up for like his resume. He's really stepped up his resume in the bubble.
Yeah, he's been great. For my 7, I had James Harden. So he averaged 35 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. And a lot of that was without Russell Westbrook. So, I mean, we've been accustomed to Harden. He's been, I think, 3 scoring titles the last 3 years. He's been unbelievable. He's been consistent. So there's not much to talk about him. He just, 35-9 now, that speaks for itself. So I thought he well deserved to be on this list just because of the caliber type of player he is.
I don't want to bring bias into this, but I'm going to, because I don't have James Harden on the list at all. Because I can't stand watching the Rockets play basketball. And it was one of the worst things. Like when I had to watch the Lakers-Rockets series, I wanted to die.
It's terrible. I hate small.
It was terrible basketball. It was 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. It was so.
That's not
annoying.
basketball.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have James Harden. I can't advocate for something that I hate.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's common sense. That makes sense.
All right. Moving on to number 6, I have Luka.
6.
I have Luka at
What?
6. I had to revise my list a little bit. You'll see why. But I had him originally at number 3, and I forgot about some names that I wanted to throw in there. But he averaged a triple-double. He could have brought the first round series to at least 7 games. I don't know if he would have won game 7, but he could have brought it there minus if Porzingis was healthy.
He didn't play with that one game with Porzingis in the against Clippers.
Yep. The Porzingis injury obviously hurt them a lot, and the lack of rest of the supporting cast that is around him and Porzingis really bit the bullet there. So that really caused a lot of caused what you saw in the playoffs with them getting outed in 6 games, 5 games, 6. Yeah, he could have brought them to at least a game 7, had a healthy Porzingis, or even to the second round. So
Yeah.
he had the game winner. Obviously, he had a great end to the regular season, and there's really a lot of talk generating about how Luka is going to be the future of the league.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the
I
day.
think he is. I think he's the future. He's better. I think he's more of a future than Giannis. I don't know why people would say like Zion. I mean,
Yeah,
Luka is the future.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Mhm.
I will get into more detail Luka in my list. He's obviously in my list.
Mhm.
So for my 6, I have Devin Booker.
Ooh, that's low for him.
Luka's low. Are you kidding me? You have Luka at 6. Devin Booker didn't make the playoffs. So
But
they were 8-0, but
Okay.
they were 8-0. I can't get behind someone that didn't make the playoffs that high. That's why TJ Warren's not on my list.
He's not on your list at all?
He didn't do anything in the playoffs.
Oh, man. Okay.
So Devin Booker, 8-0 in the bubble, averaged 35 and 6 in the bubble. I would have loved to see them in the playoffs. See what they could have done. They were. You could argue that the Suns and the Nuggets, Suns bubble team, Nuggets down 3-1 are two of the best teams.
Oh my god, yeah.
Imagine that game.
That's gonna be in 2K next year.
Oh
We're gonna
my
have 3-1
God.
Nuggets versus the bubbled Suns, and we're gonna battle.
Oh, I think Devin Booker. He's still young. I hope he stays with the Suns. I think they can grow. Him and DeAndre Ayton are good.
See, I think in order for Devin Booker to grow, I think he's gonna get out of Phoenix.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think in order for him to really expand as a player and really like mold into the player that he's capable of and that we saw in the bubble, I think he needs to get out of Phoenix. I don't know where. I think the Thunder might be a good landing place for him.
What pick did they have?
The Suns.
The Suns.
It was like 12,
Okay.
something like that. It was something in double digits, but like early double digits.
But definitely, he's got a bright future. He's already been good. I think this kind of raised his, I would say, stardom and kind of national attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then segue into number 5, I have Donovan Mitchell. He flat out took over games in the bubble, and especially in that Denver series that they had. The back and forth between him and Jamal Murray was nuts.
Unbelievable.
It was some of the best basketball, because that was honestly one of the best series that we've seen in the playoffs this year, and nobody talks about it. And it makes me so angry because that series was so good.
Yeah.
Like that was some of the best basketball. I've
Even
ever watched.
the game 7 was crazy.
Yeah, and he's the 50-point games. Was he the one that had multiple 50-point
So,
games,
yeah,
or did
'cause-
Jamal Murray have that?
No, it was Donovan Mitchell had 2 50-point. He had 57 in game 1.
Yeah, that is because he took over. Like every time he touched the ball and they were down, he was just like, I'm going off now.
Yeah.
And he did just that, and he even generated some D-Wade comparisons as his playoff exit.
I love those comparisons.
Yeah.
He's a better shooter, Donovan Mitchell, but
And he's more explosive.
Similar.
More explosive.
Not when Wade was younger. I don't know. I would say maybe Wade was faster. Mitchell was more explosive.
Yeah, more explosive in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's who I got at number 5.
I also have Donovan Mitchell at 5. Pretty much. You had 2 50-point games and a 40-point game I had listed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the game 1 was nuts. He was 57. I think he had 9 threes.
Mm-hmm.
He was even shooting a good percentage too.
Didn't they lose that game?
Yeah, because Murray turned up. Murray and Jokic turned up, but Mitchell he's like another guy. The league is so good. There's so many young stars.
Yep.
The league's in such good hands, and Donovan Mitchell's one of them.
Yep. The league has been Thanos as well. We talked about Thanos earlier in the show. The league has been Thanos since KD left the Warriors. And like the NBA this year was so fun to watch.
I think it's gonna be better next year.
Yep.
With the Warriors back.
As long as Giannis doesn't go to the Warriors.
Oh
my God, I would hate my life again.
But the Warriors right now, and then the Nets coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be great.
Definitely. Number 4, TJ Warren.
Yep.
I got TJ Warren.
I have no problem with you having that list. I just couldn't get behind him. He didn't do anything in the playoffs for me.
See, the reason that you don't have him on your list is the reason I don't have him in my top 3. So that was my whole thing. He averaged 31 points per game, 58% from the field, 52% from 3-point, and he came out of nowhere.
First team all bubble, right?
First team all bubble. I think he was runner-up in bubble MVP or third runner-up behind either Booker or Lillard.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I think he finished third in voting or second in voting there. And another guy that absolutely came out of nowhere. If you would have told me that TJ Warren was going to leave the bubble averaging 31 points per game, I would have told you to get out of my house.
Yeah.
Like
Came out of nowhere. No,
Yeah.
it's literally it was unbelievable.
yeah.
He had like 50 something in the first game, I think.
50 something in the first game, and I was disappointed. Another reason that I don't have him higher up in the list is I was disappointed in his output when facing Jimmy Butler, who was come up as a rival for him. I was disappointed in that output, but other games besides that in the playoffs, he was incredible.
Mm-hmm. For my 4, I have Nikola Jokic. I was high on him just because, I mean, and Jamal Murray, who was obviously on this list as well, but coming 2-3-1 series, like that's unbelievable. That's unheard of. You might not ever see that again.
No, I don't think you will.
Back to
actually,
back,
yes.
they came back, and one of the teams was the freaking Clippers.
Mhm. Yeah, that was the biggest
And-
upset of the bubble by far.
And Murray was, I would say, the better player, but Jokic, I think, was more important to him. The pick and roll they had with him and Murray was, you can't guard that.
Yeah.
Because you have to respect Murray, obviously he's insane.
Mm.
And then Jokic can hit the three, is unbelievable in the post, and he honestly is like the best passing big ever.
No, yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm a big Jokic fan. That's a little biased. I would say maybe like Mitchell or Booker should be ahead of him. But just in terms of the playoff accomplishments, that's why I had them higher. But he's fun to watch.
Yeah. He's definitely fun to watch, but Jokic was another one that didn't make my list.
Yeah.
He didn't make my list just because of I wanted to kind of spread out and have like a broader view of
No, that's
like,
good.
what the
That
bubble-
we have different lists.
Yeah. I wanted to have a broader view of the bubble. I didn't want to have two guys from the same team
Mhm.
on that list, and that kind of segues into my number 3 guy, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray was one of the best players. I think he was the best player ultimately as far as playoff run and bubble production goes. As far as that balance, he was unbelievable. He had he really looked like an all-star. He had the 40-point games, the 50-point game, and he really led the charge in scoring for them in those 2-3-1 comebacks.
Mhm.
He 32 points per game, 52% from the field, 52% from three, while taking 8 a game.
Yeah.
That is insane to me that you take 8 a game and have over 50% from the 3-point line. That is really hard to do in the NBA, especially at how he started being guarded as he started generating more offense for them. I think he was one of the most fun players to watch in the bubble, and I think, like I said, he had the best balance between the bubble output and playing front to back
Yeah.
that up.
Couldn't agree more. For number 3, I have Luka. I want to read some stats right here. 36 points, 14 rebounds, 19 assists against the Bucks. 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists against the Clippers with the buzzer beater. 34 points, 20 rebounds, 12 assists. That's insane. And I mean, you talked about Luka already. We don't have to go crazy. I think he's the future of the NBA. I think you could argue he's a top 5 player already. I'm not so sure with everyone healthy, but he's definitely in the top 10. And he's unbelievable. I absolutely love. He's probably my favorite player to watch.
No, yeah,
He's unbelievable.
that's totally understandable. At number 2 above Murray, I got Devin Booker. I have Booker. He went undefeated in the bubble, and we talked about him already. 30 points per game, 50% from the field, and to lead the charge for the Suns winning in itself is very, very hard to do in just singular games, let alone 8 straight games in a playoff race.
Yeah.
They beat a good Clippers team. They took down the Nuggets. They won a bunch of games that they weren't supposed to win.
Yeah.
And he did everything that he could to get them into the playoffs. And he just came a little bit short because of how tight the playoff race was to go into the bubble.
He couldn't do more.
Yeah,
They won every game.
he did everything that he could. And I think you're gonna see him. I got a hot take for you right here. I think he's a Western Conference starter next year for the All-Star game.
Interesting.
I think he's gonna only get better from here. And
Oh.
he's got something to prove because he's gonna have that monkey on his back that he didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And so I think they're gonna try to build around him. If
I don't know
if they don't make the playoffs and either next year or the year after that, I think you're gonna see him somewhere else. And like I said, that's only gonna benefit him. So
I don't know. I respect the hot take. I don't know if I can get behind that though. Just with the West is so talented.
Yeah.
Cool. Just in terms of guard, because you have Luka, you have Curry back healthy, and you have Harden. I think he's gonna be better than those guys.
I think Harden is gonna decline to that to D'Antoni.
True. Good point.
Curry is gonna be. I don't really know. What
Yeah,
Curry's gonna be
he's
'cause
unbelievable for this year. Yeah.
because we haven't really seen a lot of Curry in the
Yeah.
last year or so, so we don't know what we're
Oh,
gonna
and
get
you have Damian Lillard.
from him.
We're about to talk about right now. So I blew that too. I would assume we have another one.
Yeah.
So I blew that too. Bubble MVP, 37 points per game, 10 assists. He had a 3-game stretch where he had 51 points, 61 points, and 42 points. He was unreal. And a big reason why they made the playoffs, because they come in the bubble,
They were bottom of the West with the
Yeah.
Suns.
and he he said, I'm gonna put you guys on my back, and we're going to the playoffs.
He put the Louis bag on.
Yep. He ran into LeBron, who's no one's gonna beat LeBron, but if anyone was gonna beat him, it was probably Lillard. But I'm just
Over
saying.
the Nuggets?
No, yeah, they ran through him as well.
Through the Nuggets?
No, I'm just saying maybe.
Well, if you think Dame was going to beat LeBron before, or like if the because he got to them first.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, so out of the first round teams
Yeah.
that were kind of.
Oh, no, yeah.
I got you. Okay.
No, Nuggets again. Nuggets are good.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But so Lillard is my number 2. He was unbelievable.
Lillard was my number 1, as you said. 37 and 10 speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they were tied with the Suns at the bottom of the Western Conference, going into the bubble, and I think he emerged as the league's top point guard.
I already had him as my number 1 point guard.
Yeah, he was kind of teetering for me because going into the year, I had Russ above him. I don't have that anymore, obviously, given the year that Russ had.
Oh my God!
But Russ had an abysmal year. I had
What?
Curry above him too.
Westbrook actually was very good this year.
Yeah, no, like Westbrook wasn't bad, but I would in no way, shape, or form say that he's better than Dame now. But yeah, he had so many things that he had to do, and he had to carry for like the load for the Trailblazers to make the playoffs. And he said going into the bubble, I'm not coming here for no reason.
I would say
And
the
he
same thing.
definitely made worth of his time.
No, totally agree. So my number 1 is Jamal Murray. I had Lillard number 1, and then I'm a big playoff guy, so I just moved Murray over Lillard because of the 2-3-1 series. I thought that was unbelievable. And we mentioned Murray. He pretty much went from like a good, solid NBA point guard to a star, and you can even say he's a superstar nowadays.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. He averaged 18 in the regular season, 31 points per game, and he had 2 50-point games and a 40-point game.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back from 2 leads, 3-1. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, since the IG Live scandal, he's been on one.
Oh my God, yeah.
On one. I don't know if his girl got that into him or if he.
He got motivated.
Yeah, I would say so.
He got motivated. So yeah, that rounds out our rankings list, and that rounds out our episode.
Yeah, that was I think a lot better, a lot smoother than last week. Well, like I said, last week it was kind of a pilot run, trial run. We had to work out some kinks, but I think this week went a lot smoother, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy the full length of this episode. A couple Connecticut shout-outs before before we go. Breanna Stewart, UConn product, won the WNBA Finals yesterday. Won another Finals MVP. All she seems to do is win.
She's unbelievable.
All she has done forever,
Dominating.
with the exception of the first year that she got into the WNBA, is win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible to see. And we're from Connecticut products ourselves. We're happy to see that somebody is thriving on that level. And then another one, Waterford's own Maddie Burrows just committed to Villanova this week. I think that's probably the best Power 5 school that we've seen commitment from in the ECC area. Like, you've had your UConns, but I would argue Villanova is kind of like a wow factor. So shout out for her. She deserves everything she would work for.
She's insanely talented. Watching her in high school,
She's a beast.
bright future ahead for you, Maddie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that takes it all. Comes to the second episode of Irish Dick Podcast. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.
Till next time.